Let's just go ahead and unveil it right now. So phase 3 of the garage build is done. And I know you're gonna say, hey, that just looks like a storage room. Well, it basically kind of is, because my family has outgrown our current storage room and my stuff was in there and I needed to get it out and I needed to get it really closer to me in the garage. If I need to walk over and get a comparison product, if I immediately need to answer a comment, somebody asked a question about something, dimensions or something, I can quickly go over and do that. The old way, the storage room, it was tucked away and it wasn't very efficient. And having it over here is, a much easier process. Now you're gonna notice the lawn mowing equipment in previous videos is gone. I got a storage shed for outside, so all of my lawn mowing equipment is now in the storage shed. That's how I was able to get all the room to do this. So as you see, I went ahead and got more Swiss tracks to move the flooring all the way across. I did kind of a gray border on the floor to separate, because there was already a gray border there. So it kind of separates the two areas. Did a gray border around, it's kind of hidden by all the racking, obviously, and did silver. I did Swiss tracks because this floor is Swiss tracks, so I needed to keep the same amount for them to be able to click and run all the way through and be able to hold all of this weight here. Now there are other parts of the garage that we improved as well. I'll show those throughout the video. Most of that's here, but throughout the garage, this a cool thing over here I'm pointing at right now that for Rinseless, that I think you'll like. I'll show it a little bit later in the video. There's two different types of racks in here. There's two Husky ones in the far back in between each aisle. They're a little bit smaller. They're 18 by 42 by 72. So that gives me that room I need here. And then the other ones, they're 24 by 48 by 72. So this allowed me to completely reorganize all of the craziness that I had before in cabinets. I still have all the cabinets and they're been completely reorganized, redone. And I was able to take my entire fittings cabinet, which was just a nightmare of an organization setup. And I now have these drawered rollouts out here. I'll show them here in a minute. But I have all of my orifice nozzles for foam cannons, my nozzles for pressure washers, every fitting, 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, whatever it is. I have my own drawer for it, and they all have their organized, bins for that. So everything's separate. If I need a 1.45, 1.4, 1.35 foam can nozzle, right to the bin and grab it. My nozzles, my test nozzles are separated out by size. It's gonna be so much better. So I have the time lapse of doing the floors. I'm gonna show that right now. So now you can see where phase 3 finishes behind me here, the gray versus the white of the older part of the wash bay. Now I originally used vinyl sheeting, which was extremely difficult to install because it's very thin and very flimsy. So the vinyl tended to want to wrinkle and wave, and it just looked really weird. That's why a lot of the cabinets are where they are, because they're hiding really bad waviness in the walls. But you see here we have FRP board, and we'll give you a close up here in a minute. But this is the kind of board that you see in commercial refrigeration, coolers, bathrooms, stuff like that. It's fiber reinforced plastic, I believe is exactly what it's called. I can't remember. It's something like that, FRP board. But it is a much thicker material, much heavier. It still bends, but it doesn't have that waviness, and it looks more like a flat wall, as you can see now. But the best thing about this is we're using the same trim that we used for, the other vinyl, but the other vinyl is like 1/2 or 1/3 of the thickness of this. So it didn't seal well. So I had to seal every seam to keep water from getting in there. With this, these boards fill the gaps of these trim pieces a lot better. So I don't have to seal those. And on the floor, I don't have to run a border around the bottom. It goes all the way down to the floor, and all I did was seal the seam of where the board meets the floor. And then the Swiss track kind of hides it. The door, I flex sealed the door. It was very dirty. You'll see, when the time lapse of me putting this together, but it was really dirty. But just spray white flex seal all over the doors, because it's a wooden door, gives it the ability to be waterproofed. Anything in the garage that wood-wise was Flex sealed, all the window seals and anything like that. The best thing about this over the vinyl is this doesn't stain. The vinyl can stain. And I really like this gray. I think this gray. Let me know in the comments how you like that gray. I think it looks way better. So here's that FRP board up close. You can see it's got this texture to it. But see how the trim piece, how it just sits so much better in here? It sits more flush. Down at the bottom, you see it just ran down to the bottom. I screwed it in. My screw alignment may not be perfect for every board, not symmetrical, but you can see the difference in how that looks. See that trim piece there? All that nasty looking seal. And I'm not very good at sealing stuff, but see how it just seals better? I don't need anything. Obviously, this door looks horrible. All right, let's move all that stuff out of the way so I can show you what's going on here. Remember this? The original wash cart, still ticking. Use it all the time for videos. We're going down this aisle first. This is the garage and home improvement type stuff and a little bit of detailing stuff, but I'm not going to go crazy, show you every little thing, but you can kind of see how I have it set up. I did finally put up my Detail Co. polisher holder over here. Had a little room for that. All of my backpack sprayers for lawnmower stuff. All of my Ryobi tools here on this shelf. We have all the blowers you can see. There's 2 new Milwaukee blowers. Reviews coming soon. Just storage here. Everything from, not everything from my lawn mowing stuff. I'm not going to put my reels and stuff outside in the storage shed. So I have my reels, my cutters, my aerator, rollers, tools, all that kind of stuff. More of everything you normally have in a garage. Gas cans, these are empty, but you see the concept. They pull out, you undo your lock, and you can make your own setup there. It slides right in. Fit that perfectly. Over here we have some DI canisters, stuff like that. More tools, oil change stuff, more tools. Over here we have all the chemicals that we're really not using currently, but they're there and I don't want to throw them away. We have all of the foam cannons, foam cannon bottles. And as you see, we still have tons of room for storage for more stuff. Our scale sitting right here as well. That generator may come in very handy in the future if I ever want to do reviews on 240 volt stuff, since I don't have it. That actually is 7,000 watts, so it can do 240 volt. Now, as we go down this aisle, this is pretty much all the car wash, car detailing, review type stuff. Anything over here, I don't use on a daily basis. That's in the garage main area. This is just storage. As you can see, the extra Swiss tracks. I do have some garage stuff, my Lico Moly stuff, but you can see there's the dual egos. There's the fart back machine, Act 2.3. There's another 2.3, the Ryobis, more over here, the Max Flows, just overload. That's just all the accessories from those, the guns, the hoses and everything. We have our battery central area over here. We showed the Milwaukee blowers. We now have Milwaukee batteries. We have more Milwaukee products coming as well to review. But we have enough battery charger here for our Egos, our Greenworks, our Ryobis, just everything. We have all of our batteries up there and then lined up over here. This is the opposite side of that, those DI tanks that you saw. Electrical, hoses, I mean, the sprayers, just extra stuff, brushes that I'm not currently using or ones that I've already got a replacement for, just waiting to do it. The other ones wore out. Old DI resin in a bucket. I'm still holding that over to see if I can do it myself. But this is really what it's about. You can see over here, everything that's in here is 3/4 MPT. Look at that. All of the fittings that I need. Convenient. We have all of our nozzles over here. So here's our 1 through 4s. There's everything here. There's 3.7s, there's 4.6s, all the normal sizes. Threw a bunch away, but I kept what I needed here. And then obviously, this does move a little bit. I put a mat underneath it so it doesn't move. This one has got the other nozzles. These are all the 5s, and then the 7s, 8s, 9s, and then 10s. Then over here, orifice nozzles. Yeah, look at that, it's labeled. 0.9s, 1s, 1.1s, 1.2s, 1.35s, 1.4, 1.45, 1.5, 1.65. These are all the sizes that you can currently buy. Or, I mean, Alibaba is kind of 0.9 and 1.0. But I didn't keep all the 1.15s, 1.20s because you can't purchase those. And then back here are my test nozzles. So we have them in the different sizes. I'm missing my 2.5 though. Not happy about that. I have to go to Northern Tool and get another one. But even over here, I have my M22 14 millimeters and 15 millimeters separated. So I have tons of M22 to 3/8 quick connects, all kinds of stuff. All of the garden hose attachments. You wouldn't believe how many different garden hose adapters I have. From 1" to 3/4, 3/8 over to garden hose thread, quick connects, Ely quick connects, everything I need. As we move across to the other side of the garage, I'm going to show you the wash setup over here, which is kind of by itself between the two areas, which is greatly convenient to be able to get outside quickly and move across the garage. On the other side of the garage, it's a little more of a hassle to get around. But really, from a change point, not much has changed over here. We went with the gray hose on the Flexzilla. We switched to the McKillen's 1/4" hose. AR630 V2, biggest change at the top there. I had to sport my AR630 V2 shirt, which is maybe, I've gained a few pounds. I don't know if you've noticed. I got to take care of that. Now the washing machine, everybody asks me about that. It works amazing. It's been a couple years now. It's RCA brand, but Black & Decker makes the exact same one. You can't get this one anymore. But Black & Decker makes the exact same one in like a white and black, which I'll link that below, along with anything else, obviously, in the video here. All right, so now we come over here, and big changes. Usually in the videos, you'll see that the hood was over here. Now it's in the aisle because it was just kind of blocking this. You see we have our shelves here with our IKs, our pre-diluted Incredible Suds, everything else we need. Our little drying rack here for our towels that we're drying out. And obviously a storage area for all of our 2-gallon sprayers here, our Sprayers Pluses and our IK Foam Pros. And our Sunjo over here in the corner. But what is the Sunjo's hose going up here? Well, I converted an air hose reel to be my rinseless sprayer. So I have 50 foot of air hose reel. This is a really nice air hose reel, really nice flexible hose. And as you can see, I have adapted their threading to the Sunjo sprayer. And guess what? Yeah, the Sunjo can keep up with it. That's why I love that Sunjo. Look at the pressure this thing can do. Oh, and the mist versus, oh, and all conveniently up here on a hose reel. Yeah. Because the Sunjo, the hose was only about 12 or so feet. So I had to move it around, and it holds 4 or 5 gallons. It holds a lot, it weighs a lot. So you just stick it in the corner, little mini Tornador thing on there. I think this is Rag Company. Yeah, this is Rag Company. I've got the new Tornador Mini coming as well from the House of Rags. I think it looks really good over here. And look at the sturdiness on this thing. This is a dual swing arm. So this is a difference between a dual swing arm and a single swing arm. So dual swing arm, single swing arm, big difference. And I ran that air hose all the way across the ceiling, and my air compressor, instead of sitting out in the garage, is now in a storage room. I know people are curious, and I keep this kind of room off the grids, but this is the storage room I was telling you about. In here, you can see this is where I keep my electrical lawn equipment, because I'm not going to leave those in a storage shed. There's the air compressor right there. We feed that hose all the way over to the other side. We have my toolboxes here. This is a bit of a mess, and it looks horrible, but that's the way it is. This is the air system, the hot water heater, and all that in here in this enclosed area, along with my fuse box right there. And yes, that is an electrical cord going across, but I do plan to put in an electrical outlet in here. So we're over here with the 3 amigos, I call them, the 3 cabinets on this side.
The 3 amigos!
And these are Keter Pro cabinets. Got them at Home Depot. They're a little bit difficult to put together, but the reason I got them is because they're resin. So they're completely waterproof. I don't have to worry about anything. And every shelf has a 100-pound weight capacity. So every shelf, even though it's resin, has steel reinforcement, and it can hold a lot of weight. I just kind of like them overall. May replace them down at some point. Sometimes the doors don't open and close as easily. You have to kind of you know, do a little foot finagle at the bottom or something like that. But this works for me. You can see one of them is slightly different shade than the rest, but from open, we just have all of our microfibers, our DI resin containers down there, bucket lids. And then over here, we've got all of our polishing pads, polishes. We have all the stuff I use for testing, scales, pin gauge, just kind of a mixed grab of stuff, our BioBomb stuff, our filter wrenches, and all of our goat drying towels. Dehumidifier if I ever need one, but I have a humidifier kind of built into the AC system here, so I don't need it as much, but if I ever need it, I can run that. And that's what's left of my resin supply is that little bag. That's all I got left out of a bulk CR Spotless shipment that I had quite some time ago. And then over here is all of our chemicals. Everything that I use is in here. Now, obviously up top, my Ryobi Bluetooth speakers, my salt gun, and a bunch of extra hoses. And then over here in front of the window, I have all of my ladders, my platforms, all of my step ladders and everything kind of conveniently in that corner over there. Now, obviously, you know, this part of the garage, this is the setup right here. Obviously, this camera is kind of at a weird awkward angle. Everything doesn't look nice, but I love Lickle Moly products. Loved them before I worked for them, even before I was able to get that. BBS was a sponsor for a long time, so I put that over the AC mini split, which is a Mr. Cool 12,000 BTU, so more than enough for this garage setup. We have the MJCs. It's just a reminder to me and to the audience that I do honest reviews. Like, it's not here to make a commercial if the product sells itself, right? And if it doesn't perform, we need to keep companies accountable for poor products. Trophies up there from car shows and stuff like that. We'll get into these cabinets. I have more stuff up there, O-rings and all kinds of extra stuff because I couldn't fit it all over there. I had bins and bins on these walls, but I've taken all those out because they all went into those containers over there. The amount of space I was able to save with just those over there. We have our spray guns and everything here. Test nozzles, all of our valves and big elbows that are too big for those bins over there. Then on this side, I'm kind of embarrassed about this, but the bottom, just ignore it. There's a vacuum down there, the Rigid Pro. It's been sitting there for a long period of time because I use my little 1 gallon Ryobi more than anything. And I have like all my Fantic and all these different compressors and inflators and stuff just stuffed over here in the corner with different brushes and hoses for vacuums. But overflow shelf for my DIY detail bulk stuff, my Ryobi Easy Clean stuff, Ryobi Easy Clean bucket for all the hoses and everything that can be used with that. You know, measuring cups, everything. We have our gloves, all that kind of stuff up here, ceramic coatings, whatever I need. Now this thing has been used and abused and beat up, and I think I may replace it at some point. It's a little, I might try to reinforce it a little bit. The top's been beat up, but the drawers, I organized my drawers. Yeah, look at that. Everything I need for a review video to change fittings, fix fittings, whatever I need to do. My lawnmower stuff right here as well. My Rainbird sprinkler changer, I need that for sure. But just everything a little more organized. You should have seen it before this. I didn't get a before photo, but this was the biggest mess ever. The amount of nozzles and orifices and everything that I had. I spent 5 hours last night going through everything one piece at a time, measuring every orifice size and everything to get everything organized right. And many of you have never even seen this part. This is where I keep my dollies and my wash buckets with lids. Wheel and tire, I don't use that very much. I got Swiss Flex floors. I really don't need the bucket. I have the floor. I can just put it on the floor. That bucket right there for my rinseless and my washing and my smaller trash can. The bigger trash can over there is for larger stuff that I can't really throw away in the garbage, and I let it build up. And then once a year or twice a year, I get a big container and I have all that stuff built up and I throw it all away. And for those of you wanting to know, here's that storage shed. You see it's just conveniently right here next to the porch. Man, that AC system and the heater in the garage over there is working hard in this cold air. But got all of our mowers and outdoor equipment and all of our tools. And this is locked. Just don't try it. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. There isn't a ton of changes, but I didn't want to do it all at once. It comes in phases. Phase 4, I believe I'm going to take that gray board and I'm going to go and redo the whole garage in the gray board. I think that's going to look so much better, and probably paint the garage door because that ugly yellow tinge that it has is kind of annoying, right? I'm going to change the tint as well and maybe a few other things. cabinet, possibly a cabinet array to redo the area. I don't know yet. This stuff's pretty expensive. We'll have to see how the year goes from a profit standpoint. But for me, I am very happy with the results. I have the organization that I'm looking for. I have the efficiency I'm looking for getting to anything that I need to get to. And obviously the wash bay is efficient in itself. Maybe one day Ivan LaCroix will come by and give me a garage audit and see how I do. And I remember, I'm just a home enthusiast. I don't do this for a living. This isn't a high volume thing. So there you go. Don't forget to check the links below or the product tags for anything in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. High points, if you feel I deserve them, you can throw them away. If not, I'll show you a small creator that you can support. So the channel for today is Clean Car Chris. Now this is a suggestion from the comments. I have actually not seen the videos before, but from what I've heard, great videos. I create so much content. I don't watch as much content in car detailing. I tend to watch other things. So you just go to the comments, swipe left. This only happens on mobile currently. Hit hype points, and then I can give them 660 hype points. There you go. So that creator has to have posted that video in the last 7 days. They have to have less than 500,000 subscribers, and they have to be monetized with the YouTube Partner Program. So like I said before in many videos, let me know in the comments below some creators that I can support. I have kind of run out of my own little niche, and if I forgot somebody, I didn't do it on purpose. Just let me know in the comments below creators that you would like me to show support for at the end of the video. So I'll see you in the next video. And I removed the early... So phase 3 of the garage build, phase 3 of the garage, they're 30 inches, what? Not 30, 24. Now there's much more to, now I do have some time lapse of what's going on. So I'll show that. So I do have some time lapse. This is YouTube right here. Forget to move your camera to show you moving everything out of the aisle for a time lapse. So there you go. Don't forget, so there you go. All right, we're done.